Hello and welcome to BWB, and we are continuing the Midnight Library, and the mountain is you. So here we will explore the different lives you might have lived, and the imaginative and emotional novel takes us through a journey through regret, hope, and search of meaning. Together we will discuss the characters and the choices they face, and the powerful question the story asks about happiness, purpose, and living what ifs. So let's see what is more in from these book. Over to you, Dr. Geeta.
Thank you, Shritapa. Hi, everyone. Today, we continue our exploration of the critically acclaimed novel, The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, which resonates with readers worldwide as one of the most universal human experiences, wondering whether we have made the right choices. Matt Haig has a remarkable gift for transforming complex emotional struggles into stories that feel both personal and hopeful. Through Nora Seed's journey, he invites us to examine not only our regrets but also our fears. As Nora Seed, the young woman, who continues exploring alternate versions of her life, she discovers something surprising. The more life she experiences, the less certain she becomes that there is one single right path, one single right life. Before entering the Midnight Library, Nora viewed life like a test with correct and incorrect answers. If she had pursued music, she would have been happy. If she had continued swimming, she would have been fulfilled in her athletic glory. If she had made different relationship choices, everything would have worked out. If she had made at least the correct choice, she would have achieved what she had believed she would have. But each alternate life challenges that assumption. Every path contains unexpected complications. Every success comes with sacrifices. And every dream fulfilled creates new responsibilities and new difficulties which she had never imagined was going to happen. Gradually, Nora realizes that she has spent years searching for a perfect answer to a question that may not have one perfect answer. And this is something many of us do. We hesitate to start a business because we fear choosing the wrong direction. We delay changing careers because we worry about making a mistake. We stay in situations that no longer serve us because uncertainty feels more frightening than dissatisfaction. Often, the fear of making the wrong choice becomes more limiting than the choice itself. We tell ourselves that we need more information, more certainty, more guarantees, yet life rarely offers guarantees. This is what Nora discovers to her disadvantage, to her dissatisfaction, to her, inner conflict. When Nora begins to understand that it is that there is one perfect version of herself waiting to be discovered, that there is not one flawless career, one flawless relationship, or one flawless path, then she simply feels, liberated also. There are simply different lives, each with its own opportunities and challenges. This realization is both unsettling and liberating. Unsettling because we cannot eliminate risk. Liberating because it means we don't have to make those choices. We simply have to live. The pressure to find the perfect path can keep us frozen for years. But perfection is often an illusion. What matters is not choosing a life without problems, but choosing a life whose challenges we are willing to embrace, we are willing to accept, we are willing to live it. The Midnight Library gently reminds us that living requires participation, not certainty. No amount of planning can remove all possibility of disappointment. No decision comes with a guarantee of happiness. And that is exactly what makes life meaningful. Every choice is an act of courage. Every step forward is taken without knowing the entire map. Nara's journey teaches us that growth begins when we stop asking, what if I choose wrong? And start asking, what can I learn from the path I have chosen? Because there is rarely one perfect life. There are only imperfect lives lived fully. So my question to you all viewers, think about a decision you have been postponing or overthinking about. If you knew there was no perfect choice, only different experiences and lessons, What decision might you finally feel ready to make? I now invite Dr. Siddharth to reflect on this question and share his viewpoint with us. Over to you, Dr. Siddharth.
Oh, that's profound, Dr. Geeta. I got this question so many times in my life that, should I postpone this because I'm still not ready? Uh, I have taken so many decisions just because I was procrastinating that the decision I wanted to take will not work. And that led to, there have been so many um, situations in my life where I have actually regretted why I took so much time. So there was when I was into the procrastination loop, and people who procrastinate would know this, that it's a very deadly loop, and once you get into it, you can't come out very easily. It's not laziness, but it is like going to make your mind lazy and not take the right direction based on your belief or your understanding, which may have been formed because of the conditioning around you. You are continuously taking decisions which are uh, not as per your own belief or as per your own um, strengths, but it is because people around you have conditioned you like that. One of the things which I have learned from postponing things and procrastinating, overthinking is that when you overthink a lot, you actually slow down your life, first of all, and your dreams are never going to come true. You will become, you will get surrounded by more people like you because you are attracting that procrastinating energy, that overthinking people come around you. They make you feel that you are doing the right thing, and you will never come out of this situation because you don't believe on yourself. There are high chances that you are self doubting even with the smallest steps because you are overthinking. Overthinking can kill somebody to this extent that even though they have done a lot good in their education or their career, but they may not be able to achieve the peace they were looking for since their childhood. So, this is interesting that, I have written a book called Don't Overthink, which has gained a lot of acceptance from a lot of people. It has sold a lot of many copies. And people, when I go to book fairs, people ask me actually that is it even working? That can people come out of overthinking? My answer to them is yes. It is not a it's not a disease that can be resolved or cured. It is something completely based on your psychology, and if you can understand it, decode it, that my book actually talks about that, how to decode it. So if you are able to decode it, then you will be able to come out of overthinking as well. So that's my take on overthinking. The sooner you get out of this, it's better, because you have one life and there is so much to do in one life. So that's my message for everybody here. Over to Shitapa for her insight. Thank you.
Thank you, Siddharth. And yes, you absolutely said it right that people get stuck in that overthinking zone rather than taking some action, and maybe that particular thing which she or he is thinking at that moment may not even come or arise or happen. So just to relate with the same thought, I can say, like, I've seen people pondering on what if, that happens in life? What if that goes wrong? What if in future this happens? What if comes so many times that they stop living the present moment. They stop seeing what they have got now. So if even to people who are going through a lot of things, I can understand that there is an anxiety which is different, that things may go wrong. But if we continuously think in that direction, we are actually giving a signal to universe that that should happen to us, because I'm preparing myself for the worst and I'm expecting the worst will only happen. So, overthinking can bring in a lot of negative energy towards us. So, instead, if we can tell that what if even this goes wrong, I can turn it to this and, start taking a different perspective of looking at it, then I think that is where we need to train our brain. And it will not happen in a day. Like Siddharth said, we need to decode our pattern of thinking. We need to understand every day how we start. And that's where a self talk also helps you to, to observe what we are doing is currently, is it happening? Has that happened? If no, then why are we thinking? If nothing has happened, then let's not even think. Let that thing come to life, and then we will think what can we do from there. Because when you are given some challenge, you are also given an opportunity with the challenge. That's my way of looking at challenge, and that has led my life always towards a positive direction. And I will pass on that courage and that mindset to everyone who is listening here. Over to you, Sujata.
Thank you, sir, Shweta, for sharing such a nice thought. Yes, overthinking leads to negativity, as you said, and it's good that, again, think positively, and again, we can transform our lives. And when we succeed, what do we feel? We believe that we have reached there, we've succeeded, we get achievement, recognition, accomplishment, and we have been told that these are the things will make us happy. From the time we are kids, it's drilled into us: study hard, get good grades, get a good job, work hard, get promoted, earn more money, buy things, achieve more. And then what? Then you'll be happy. Except sometimes when you get there, you achieve the thing, you reach the goal, you get the promotion, the recognition, the success you've been chasing for years, and you look around and think, is this it? I remember, like when I was younger, I thought if I could just get into the right school, everything would fall into place. And then I got it. And I was still anxious. I thought I could get the right job, everything would be fine. But still unsure of it because I was overthinking, chasing it. That's what Brianna Wiest says in The Mountain Is You. She has this brilliant concept called the dopamine trap, and it explains so much. There's something about our brains. They release dopamine, that good the feel good chemical in anticipation of a reward. When we are working towards a goal, we feel excited, motivated, alive. But once we actually achieve the goal, the satisfaction fades, often pretty quickly. We are wired for wanting, not for having. Think about that. We are literally built to chase things, not to enjoy them. Isn't that cruel? I mean, who designed this system? And here's what Brianna says: when we chase success for the wrong reasons, we overthink to prove our worth, to feel valued, to fill some empty space inside. No amount of achievement will ever feel like enough. Because the wound we are trying to heal with success was never meant to heal it. And this is exactly what Nora discovers in the Midnight Library. She gets to live all these lives she once dreamed about. She becomes a famous musician. She achieves athletic excellence. She earns recognition and admiration. And guess what? Even in those successful lives, she feels lonely, uncertain, disappointed, doubtful. The details change, but the human experience remains the same. A person can be admired and still feel lonely, accomplished and still feel uncertain, achieve extraordinary things and still wonder who they are. So here's the question I want to leave you with today. What are you actually seeking? Because sometimes what we call success is actually a desire for significance. Sometimes what we call achievement is actually a desire for belonging. Sometimes what we call recognition is actually a desire to feel valued. Well, these are not bad things. They're deeply human, but success alone won't give them to you. Fulfillment comes from something deeper, from connection, purpose, growth, meaning. Achievement can be measured, fulfillment must be experienced. So, success and fulfillment are not the same thing. This is the takeaway. One can be measured, the other must be lived. And if you're chasing success to fill an internal void, you'll find that void is still there when you arrive. So the question is not what can I achieve? It's what kind of life feels meaningful to me. Am I overthinking? Should I stop overthinking? So now let me pass it over to Jasveer for her insights on this topic.
Thank you, Sujata. Very well said. Success is to be achieved, and fulfillment is something that we should experience. And all our lives, we are making decisions, thinking that something should lead to success. They should not be fail. We shouldn't fail at things, and in the bargain, sometimes we overthink and we get trapped. And that itself can be a failure, because that loss of time is actually is you're failing on delivering your results. And what you just mentioned about success and fulfillment, this reminds me of one uncle that I knew, who all his life worked very hard, never took any leave from office. And even if he was unwell, he would, possibly pop in a croissant and still land up at work. And, he had kept accumulating his wealth. And he always thought that, whenever it was time to take a holiday with his family, his wife and children would go to, his in-laws' house. Like, the wife would go to her parents' house for a holiday with her children, and he would say, though, I can't take leave. I mean, I need to, accumulate enough so that we give our children a good education, and I want to send them abroad, so I can't keep taking leave. And whatever accumulated leave, he used to cash it out, and he was accumulating a lot of wealth. Now, all these years, his thoughts were, and he was overthinking that if I take leave now and I, land up going on a holiday, I will miss out on generating more wealth for my family, and this will lead to problems later, financial problems later. So let me not go for a holiday now, and I will do it later. And he kept it for later. Now, he was successful financially, he was successful career wise. So when he retired, his children had settled down very well. They were both well settled abroad. He had given them the education that he thought he would give them, and they were doing very well. And he retired, and a month later, he was supposed to go on a they wanted to go on a pilgrimage to different pilgrimages in India, to different religious places in India. His wife and he had planned it. They had booked all the tickets, and they were very excited about it. But just 2 days before his, the travel date, they were supposed to take a train from Mumbai to Delhi, and all that was planned. The packing was done, and he was very excited. He spoke to his friend also 2 days before the travel date. And unfortunately, he had a cardiac arrest and he passed away. Now, this was sudden, unplanned, and all his life he kept overthinking that I will take that holiday. I will do, see to it that, at this point in time, I need to be successful, achieve enough, and gather and accumulate enough wealth so that we are all provided for. And when it's time, I will take that holiday. And in the bargain, what happened? He all his life he was just working, overworking, and his children would have done well either which ways. even if he wouldn't have sent them abroad. He never took that holiday when he should have taken it. He stressed himself so much that it landed up with some cardiac issue. And when it was time for him to enjoy, he lost his life. And it was not only him. He passed away. His wife became miserable because all these years, she also kept adjusting to the idea that yes, someday we'll take that holiday. So where did he lead to? Nowhere. At the end of the day, he just lost all these years that could have been fulfilling and happy and satisfying. And he just was running after success, the so-called success, because when he it was time for him to enjoy, uh, life did what it would have. His stress had built up, and it would have come out in some form or the other. Unfortunately, he passed away. I mean, possibly there would have been a better view to this. And At the end of the day, his entire family regretted all these decisions of overthinking that he did for all these years, and there was no fulfillment for him or nor for his family, which is the sad part. So that's exactly how serious an overthinking issue can be. And what we are running after may not be what we actually need. So we have to learn to draw the line there. I think there's a strong lesson involved in this. So thank you. And now I hand it over to Dr. Geeta to continue.
Thank you, Jaspreet, for sharing this remarkable insight. I cannot agree more with this. Life stands us at crossroads, and we gather the insight to address it if we are vigilant enough. Don't you agree? Here too, as we continued our journey through the Midnight Library by Matt Haig, we arrived at a profound insight by observing Nora's conflicted journey. And at first, Nora believes her suffering comes from external circumstances. She thinks her unhappiness is caused by missed opportunities, failed relationships, abandoned dreams, and unfortunate choices. But as she explores life after life in the, by going through that book and living that alternate life, another possibility begins to emerge. What if the real obstacle isn't her circumstances, but the story she tells herself about who she is? This question lies at the heart of Nora's transformation. Throughout the novel, Nora carries a recollection of deeply ingrained beliefs, which she rarely questions. She has repeated these beliefs so often that they feel like truth, like facts. And what are these beliefs that she carries, which she feels like facts? I am not enough. I let people down. I fail at things. I disappoint those who care about me. I never live up to my potential. These thoughts operate quietly in the background of her mind. They influence how she interprets events. They shape one's expectations and affect the choices one makes. As you know, it not only it applies to Nora, it applies to each one who thinks like that. What makes limiting beliefs so powerful is that they often remain invisible. We don't realize we are looking through them. We assume we are seeing reality objectively when in fact we are seeing reality through the lens of old assumptions, old belief systems. Nora begins entering lives where she has achieved remarkable things, lives that should, according to her earlier beliefs, prove her worth. Yet something unexpected happens. Even in successful lives, self doubt still appears. Even in accomplished lives, insecurity still exists. This realization is important for Nora to understand herself. External achievements cannot permanently solve internal beliefs. A person who believes they are inadequate may continue feeling inadequate even after achieving extraordinary success. A person who believes they disappoint others may continue searching for evidence that confirms that belief. The Midnight Library encourages us to look beneath circumstances and examine the stories we have accepted about ourselves. Many of these stories originate years earlier. A criticism, a disappointment, a failure, a painful experiences, which all has happened and which has just, gone to the background of our mind. Over time, isolated events become identity statements. Instead of saying, I failed, we begin saying, I am a failure. And we start to identify with that. Instead of saying, I disappointed someone, we begin saying, I always disappoint people. The difference is enormous. One describes an event, the other defines a person. As Nora's journey continues, she slowly learns to separate who she is from the mistakes she has made. She begins to recognize that her worth is not determined by perfection. She's not the sum of her regrets, the sum of her failures, and not the sum of the stories she has been telling herself. And perhaps neither are we. One of the greatest gifts the Midnight Library's novel is its invitation to examine our own hidden beliefs. What assumptions are shaping our lives without our awareness? What stories are we repeating that no longer serve us? Because sometimes the prison is not the circumstance. Sometimes the prison is the belief. And the moment we question that belief, the door begins to open. So, today, my question to you all viewers, what is one belief you have carried about yourself for many years that may not actually be true? How might your life change if you begin challenging that belief instead of accepting it as a fact? I now invite Dr. Siddharth to reflect on this question and share his viewpoints on this. Over to you, Dr. Siddharth.
Thank you, Dr. Geeta, for asking that question. Um, I feel I had this belief that I can never do public speaking while I was growing up. I was a shy kid and I was very afraid of being on the stage, being in front of people and talking something. Even when in my school, I remember when teachers used to ask me to come in front and talk, I would freeze and not able to go and do that. So I had created this fear in myself that and maybe nurtured that fear as well that I cannot do public speaking. But when I joined the job, there were many situations where I was alone. I had to go, go front and talk to unknown people, talk in front of huge teams. I started learning that the skill of public speaking, the skill of explaining things to a larger crowd. And now that I am an author, I have to do this so many times. Doing like panels or even in book fairs, discussions out there. So public speaking was something which was like a belief that I cannot do, but ultimately I realized that yeah, I'm doing it. So I feel that we maybe when we grow up, we create a lot of belief systems which may not be the uh, true ones or the ones which we will carry all our life. But those beliefs are broken at some point of time when we nurture ourselves and understand that this was not really a belief, it was a fear at the end of the day. And when we understand those things that it is not, it is a fear, and we can always overcome a fear. So I feel that is how I take it. Over to you, Shitapa, for your message and insights. Thank you.
Thank you, Siddharth. Yes, currently we see you totally different. I've never seen you not speaking well publicly, so can't take that anymore. I think you have changed your definition and your belief totally. So, just want to add my story of belief here. I always believed I'm not good enough and always felt, people are much better than me. That's what I started believing, looking at other people's progress in life, looking at how they deal things in life. I always thought maybe I am not someone who does it that well like them. That's what I started feeling. looking at the way people handle their life, the way people do their things. I always felt maybe something is lacking in me, and hence that's not come to me. So I was in that belief for a very long time until I realized that that was something, it is caging me. That is something I need to break to see the real me. And that only happened when I hit the rock bottom in my life. That's when I was left with zero. And then when I start reanalyzing and relearning, unlearning everything and relearning myself, that's when I thought everything what I thought is just not me. It is just my my self-created belief. Nobody even came and said me. It was just me who was seeing other people's life, other people doing well in life, and I just time framed myself that because I couldn't achieve this in this time, so there is something problem with me, because other people have achieved that in certain period of time, so they are doing good in life, they know something better than me. And I have created those beliefs, and I was bound to rethink that things don't happen the way you want. You might be perfect, you might not be perfect in a particular space, but whatever you are is good enough to live a happy life. And that belief changed rest of my negative beliefs, that you know this is my life and I am the CEO of my life. The day I thought this, that gave me a freedom to redesign my life, to rethink my life. And I've never ever thought I'm not good enough. Then I thought, okay, I will give it a try. Yes, my fears still exist. I will not deny. I will still say to myself, if I will be able to do it. But then I definitely give it a try and overcome that fear and say to myself again, see, I did it. So this is what I want to pass on to others, that you will have fears, but learn to fight with your fears, because those are your own beliefs. World doesn't think you that way. World will see what you show them. So you may be doing wrong in your past, and that is okay. You might fail in past multiple times. I will not even say one time, multiple times, and that is okay, because you have learned through your failures, and today you are not the same person. So you have changed yourself a lot, you have learned a lot, and you are definitely not someone to look down upon. With this, I pass it on to Sujata for more insights from the book.
Thank you, Shritapa. Means what you have said is so universal. This feeling that I am also tempted to make a confession. For years, I also carried that belief about myself, quiet little voice that used to say, you're not that smart. You just pretend things that you are well. And every time I achieved something, the voice would whisper, they're going to find out any day now. So, it's these feelings, these thoughts, they are familiar, and I think they occur in most lives, sometimes or the other. And they don't announce themselves, they just don't say, hello, I'm a limiting belief and I'm going to ruin your life now. They don't say that. They just operate quietly in the background, and they feel like facts, like the truth. And that's exactly what happens to Nora in the Midnight Lab. He carries this collection of thoughts that she's repeated so often, they feel like the truth. I'm not enough. I let people down. I fail at things. I disappoint those who care about me. And she doesn't question them. She just accepts them like they're written in stone. And here's what Brianna Beast teaches us about in The Mountain Is You. These beliefs aren't facts, they're messages, they're stories we've been telling ourselves for so long that we forget that we made them up. And here's this really interesting part. Brianna says that self sabotage happens when your conscious mind has goals, but your unconscious mind has conflicting needs. So there's a conflict between your goals and your needs. Your conscious mind says, I want to be successful. But your unconscious mind says, but what if you fail and everyone finds out that you're not good enough? Your conscious mind says, I want to be in a relationship. But your unconscious mind says, but what if you get hurt again? And guess which one wins? Every single time, it's the unconscious mind. Every time, because it's trying to protect you, it's trying to keep you safe, even if that safety means staying stuck. Now, what does Nora discover in the library? She steps into lives where she's achieved remarkable things, lives that should, by all logic, prove her worth. And yet, even in those successful lives, the self doubt follows her because external achievements can't permanently solve internal beliefs. You can win awards and still feel like a fraud. You can be admired and still feel invisible. You can achieve everything and still feel like nothing. If you believe deep down that you are not enough, no amount of success will ever feel like enough because you're trying to fill a hole that success was never meant to fill. So, what do we do about it? Brianna suggests something beautiful. She says we need to separate who we are from the mistakes we've made. So, we need to have a separate our identity from our actions. Instead of saying I'm a failure, we say I failed at something, that particular action. Instead of saying I always disappoint people, say I disappointed that person at that time. Because one describes an event and the other defines a person. And we are not our worst moments. We are not the sum of our regrets. We are not the sum of our failures. And we are certainly not the sum of stories we've been telling ourselves. Those stories, they can be rewritten. So here's my takeaway for this round. The prison is not the circumstance. The prison is the belief. And the moment you question that belief, the door begins to open. So, viewers, what story have you been telling yourself that isn't actually true? What belief have you been carrying that no longer serves you? Ask yourself that question and then ask yourself, what if I stop believing that? Now, let's hear from Jasbir about the beliefs like we tend to carry about ourselves. Would she like to add her perspective to it? Over to you, Jaspreet.
Thank you, Sujata, for that question. We have been carrying a lot of beliefs in our life about what we are, what we are capable of, and many times these beliefs also go back to our childhood when we are made to believe things just so that we learn certain lessons. And sadly, it is there in many Indian homes where the girls are made to believe that they should get married, and marriage is the ultimate, and there are certain beliefs that only a man, if once a woman is married, it's finally the husband who will take care of her. And I believe that these are just ideologies being passed down to unnecessarily brainwash women to believe that they are the weaker gender, which is not the case. uh, so I personally know of an aunt of mine. She was not she was educated till 12th standard. She was not a graduate, and her she believed that obviously she could not work or she could not have a career. And unfortunately, her husband passed away when her children were very young, and this was like a sudden death where he had a cardiac arrest and he passed away. And she had no clue about how to handle the finances, how to handle the house, and she was like completely left alone. The family was not very supportive, that is her in-laws, and it was very difficult for her at that point in time. In spite of that, she got a job in the same bank where her husband was working. She learned a lot of the skills of the position that he was in. And over the years she was working there and she built her career, she brought up her children, gave them an amazing education. So that belief that was put into her head, that her husband will provide for her and she should always be, he will protect her and she doesn't need to do anything other than take care of the house because that's where it is, her domestic front. She just overcame all that belief because circumstances put her in that situation where she didn't have a choice. She had to face life because there was no support from anywhere. So sometimes the beliefs that we carry are just notions, are just thoughts that have been stuck into our head. And when life comes ahead and brings you into certain circumstances, you have to do away with these beliefs and believe in yourself and make a life, because life will not life will not go ahead if you're stuck with beliefs and stuck with ideas and thoughts. So that's my take on this. I know of this real life story, and I'm amazed that how a person can actually overcome all these beliefs and lead a beautiful life and make something out of their life. It's an amazing story. Yeah, thank you. And now I hand it over to Shitapa to conclude today's session.
That was another profound story, Jaspreet. A lot to learn from it. And I truly agree that overthinking turns possibilities into regrets and belief into barriers. So be wise, change the story you tell to yourself, and you begin changing your life. See you in the next episode. Till then, and don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you.